All right, another quick Gibson A Go-Go mod highlight coming your way with the LP Junior DC bass. DC Tribute bass. I got that a little wrong, but either way, you know the one, you love the one. This is the one in the natural walnut finish, and I've done a little bit of modification to it that made it kind of fit me and some of the other players that are featured on this channel just a little bit better, leaning into a little bit of a different flavor that this can provide. So the first modification that was done was documented in the install video of the TBHZ, which is this pickup right here. This is a TBHZ with a volume and tone, which is what we installed in that video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And like I've said many times when it comes to Gibson basses, the Thunderbird, this one, the SG, or otherwise, nothing wrong with the stock pickup. The push-pull function was actually quite cool, and it sounded pretty good. I recorded one song with this bass on the latest Clint Wells album, and this bass, stock, round wound Elixir strings, stock electronics, the whole nine, I struggled with it the most. I used a lot of different basses on that, well, not a lot. I used a few different basses. They're all Gibson. I used the G3, my favorite modified Thunderbird, and the Black SG bass, and this one. And this one, not only did I have the hardest time figuring out how to make it fit the mix. If you listen to that record, the song that it's on, probably no coincidence, that's the one where the bass is mixed the lowest, because it just didn't, I don't know, I was stubborn-headed, like I wanted to feature it, but it was just like not doing the thing. So that brings us, of course, to the EMG pickup, which this one's passive. I like this pickup a lot, particularly when it's 2 in a Thunderbird position. Sounds really good. But the thing that I like about it is, yes, there's a little bit of increased high end, but more so than that, that's not like the big noticeable thing, is it seems like the mid-range, particularly the mid and kind of low mid, just feels more filled out and easier to work with. If you use that analogy of this being like a paintbrush or something, it's just a better palette. In my opinion, maybe not for you, maybe you like Aguilar or something else, and that's totally cool. I'm not telling you have to like this. This is just what I like. So this pickup worked better for me. Something else may or may not work better for you. Like I said, when we did the install, this was pickup, volume, tone, basically P-bass setup. I reached out to EMG and got this passive series parallel push-pull. So for all intents and purposes, it does the same thing that it did stock. I don't know what was happening stock. I don't know if it was a series parallel, if it was a full-on coil split, or if it was some kind of other magic that made it sound more single coily. I don't know. But this one goes from series to parallel. And essentially that's going to lower your output, give you a less hot signal, of course, but a less, I guess a more articulate signal. It's a little bit thinner, a little bit brighter, and a little bit quieter. And then this one is a little bit louder, fatter, and rounder, and warmer, and adjectives. So that was the first modification, and we were about halfway getting to where we wanted to be. Second modification was these tapewound strings. And the reason for the tapewound, first we got to go back and touch on this wall of instruments behind me. It's a lot, I know. You're seeing about 2/3 of it. But the reason for having all of those is that when I have different players, myself, Chuck, Dave, Josh, Nick, whoever comes over to play, I kind of want to have different styles and different vibes for people. So I generally leave the short scale stuff to Dave. Every once in a while I'll play the SG bass or something, but I kind of want the short scale to be more of Dave's flavor and the PJs to be more of... Anyway, you get the point. So this was kind of more of the Dave vibe, and it was just not gelling with the rounds. So last minute we were recording, I put these tapes on it, and immediately just with his play style and the short scale nature and this one pickup and the whole thing, everything just fell into place. And it's like, this is the character that this bass in his hands, and now my hand. I mean, I don't really like to play this one that often, particularly on camera, because of the way that these cutouts are. It sits very uncomfortably on my lap. I already struggle with being kind of a bigger person already. But it's got like a reverse neck dive problem to where if I'm not holding it, well, now it's falling forward because I'm on a weird chair, but you get my point. I much prefer the SG shape where this part sits a little bit down here. So I don't play this one in a professional sense all that often. I noodle with it when I'm just alone and trying to kill time or just unwind or whatever. And in those situations, this sounds incredible. This sounds really good. But back to my original point, when Dave was playing it and recording some of the songs that we had set up for him to record, this thing just came alive. Just with these tape wounds and just the way that this is set up, just gave it such a vibe that, I don't know. Again, this might not be your flavor, this might not work for you, but it worked for us and me and Dave and what we do here really well. So I guess the point of this is just to show you one option, one thing you can do with it. You can put flats and a Curtis Novak in there if you want, or you can put rounds and a Seymour Duncan in there if you want. Whatever you want to do. I went with tapes and EMG because I think it sounds awesome. The next thing to go will probably be the bridge, but not in a huge rush for that. So in the meantime, this is pretty much done. This is exactly, I think, what it should be. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, YouTube stuff. I think that's all I have to say. So I will see you whenever it is that I see you.